And now, the user experience. As mentioned earlier, the laptop features an IR facial unlock feature that works with Windows Hello. Unlike their older implementations, this one here works really fast. Once you have set it up, it will almost instantly recognize your face once you arrive at the lock screen and unlock the laptop. During the process, you can see the IR beam flashing, but because it is so intuitive and fast, you might actually miss it in normal daily use. While previously I would have preferred a fingerprint scanner, the ZenBook 14's facial recognition is fast enough to satisfy me, and the fact that I don't have to move my hand to put my finger on a fingerprint scanner is probably a strong motivator for me to choose the Asus ZenBook 14's facial recognition over any fingerprint-based security option. Looking down slightly, you will find a nice display. It is pretty standard, measuring in at 14 inches and sporting a regular 1080p resolution, but it is a quality one. Just look at these photographs. It is also quite good for videos, as you can see here, and in case if you haven't, make sure to subscribe to us so you can watch our videos as soon as we publish them. But of course, observing a screen through a camera is not the ideal way of picking your next laptop if screen quality is important to you, so we did run some tests as well. The display is capable of 99.7% sRGB, 68.7% Adobe RGB, and 70.6% DCI-P3 game mode volume, which is pretty great. While you might argue that 100% sRGB doesn't quite cut it anymore, most of the content online is still calibrated for sRGB viewing, so the Asus ZenBook 14 is still perfect for content consumption as well as some light content creation. Speaking of content creation, the keyboard on this is actually pretty good. I did enjoy typing on it, as it offers good tactile feedback and there's sufficient travel distance as well. The full-size keys are also great for touch typing, as they allow me to mistype far less on this keyboard than on laptops that have a more cramped layout. The Asus Number Pad feature is also a godsend, considering that the Asus ZenBook 14 doesn't have enough room for a dedicated numpad array. As I frequently use Excel for my work, being able to perform number entries via the number pad is really much better than having to rely on the numbers above the letter keys. And the fact they can easily toggle it on or off, or just leave it on and use the trackpad and the number pad feature seamlessly is really quite amazing. Asus definitely refined the user experience here, as now you don't have to disable the number pad to use the trackpad for mousing around anymore. If you still prefer full-sized peripherals, well, there's also the full-sized USB-A port. Yes, having USB-C is great for future compatibility, and of course the Thunderbolt 4 here is definitely the way to go when it comes to expandability, but how many peripherals today have a USB-C connector? For now, most peripherals are still based on USB-A, and being able to plug them in directly to the Asus ZenBook 14 is a really refreshing experience, as many ultra-portable laptops today are moving towards purely USB-C, despite the fact that you still need USB-A for most of your existing USB devices. Let's not forget the microSD card slot here too, as it is quite convenient for a quick storage upgrade, or if you use a camera with an adapted microSD, it will also be very easy to transfer your shots to the Asus ZenBook 14. A full-sized SD card slot would have been preferable for photographers, but then again, I guess this is a compromise I'm willing to live with considering how thin and portable this laptop is. Now, we have talked quite a bit about the hardware experience, now let's check out the built-in software. My Asus will be pretty familiar to most of you who have used an Asus laptop recently, but Asus has taken it up a notch here and you can do way more with it now. On top of checking your hardware health, you can also troubleshoot your system as well, or update. Hello, I hope you guys can hear me. So, yeah. Welcome to episode 129. I know it says 128, but actually it's the 129th episode. So, yeah, we missed the episode and I sort of miscounted. So, yeah, my bad. But, anyway, so today we'll be taking a look at the Asus OLED laptops here, which was just announced earlier this week. So, if you guys want to go find out more about it, you can go check them out on our page. But, yeah, we'll be taking a look at the Asus ProArt StudioBook 16, which is the most expensive laptop in their lineup, and a more affordable, Vivobook 14X OLED. So yeah, and hello to everyone who joined us earlier when I was playing the video, because yeah, I actually got banned from Facebook. So I not really banned from Facebook, I banned from commenting and liking on Facebook. So yeah, I'm sorry for the lack of interaction with you guys in the preparing phase earlier. Today's so yellow. Yeah, I think the white balance might be off, or do you mean that my shirt is yellow? Because yeah, it's a Realme t-shirt. It's yellow. This is their color. To be honest, I quite like yellow. Hi, welcome to the stream. So yeah, I think before we get to these goodies, I think we should start with the news recap of the week, because yeah, I think it's important to stay abreast with the latest news, I guess. Just give me a moment as I transition over. So yeah, the first bit of news that I would like to share with you guys is, the fact that Nvidia's bid for ARM is blocked by the the United States Federal Trade Commission. So it means that it's probably gonna take longer than Nvidia initially expected. So initially, Nvidia expected to complete the deal in March 2022, but obviously they started facing more setbacks from the government's the anti-competitive watchdogs, and this is the most recent update whereby they get sued by the FTC for being sort of anti-competitive, because obviously ARM is sort of a neutral company whereby they license their designs to just about everyone. I mean, yeah, except maybe Huawei, I think. Yeah, I think everyone else gets to license ARM's designs. So yeah, technically if you are capable, I think you can go and license one of ARM's designs and make your own chip if you want. But of course that will cost you a lot of money, but yeah, it is possible. So what they are afraid of, what the FTC is afraid of, is that once after Nvidia buys ARM, they might try to prevent other companies, the competitors, from using the latest ARM technologies, or maybe look at what the competitor has and develop their products to counter that, because obviously between ARM and the licensees they have a lot of communication, whereby they have to share information to develop their product, and this kind of information can be misused by Nvidia if they want to. So that's what the FTC is afraid of, and yeah, so that's why they are suing Nvidia, and most probably it will delay the acquisition, or maybe even take it off the shelf, take it off the possibilities that can happen, because yeah, if they are blocked by FTC means that they can't go through with the deal, even though it's a 40 billion deal for ARM, and probably a pretty good deal, because currently ARM is owned by SoftBank, which is a Japanese company, but SoftBank doesn't interfere in ARM's affairs, so that's why it's acceptable, I guess. But if Nvidia buys ARM, it might be an entirely different story, because, well, obviously Nvidia also uses ARM designs in their own chips. So yeah, we have to see how it pans out. Apparently the suit is gonna happen on the end of 2022, late 2022, so I don't think that it's gonna be happening next year if Nvidia is to acquire ARM. So maybe it will take longer, but to be honest, I'm quite interested to see what Nvidia can do after they acquire ARM, because yeah, I mean, they can already license ARM designs, so what happens after they acquire ARM? Will they have tighter integration or what? Because as far as I know, ARM doesn't actually limit you in terms of how you want to integrate their products, integrate their designs. Like for example, Apple has used ARM designs, and you can see that their designs are pretty powerful and well integrated into the ecosystem. So yeah, let's see what happens when Nvidia actually buys ARM and the deal goes through, if it ever goes through lah. Shirt color macam first time you will see you wear this. I don't. Yeah, maybe because maybe I rarely wear yellow on stream. Yeah, you like? I don't know, because usually we go for a colder color, and I usually wear black. But yeah, I mean, this was what I put on this morning, and I decided not to change. But yeah, today we have nothing to talk about from Realme, so yeah. And the next bit of news is that the MacBook Pro with M1 Max will pay for themselves in 3 months. So if you didn't see this, I really hope you guys see this and you guys share it with your boss, because if you are a software engineer, the MacBook Pro will be a lot faster for you guys. So according to this engineer for Reddit, he's not an engineer on Reddit, he's an engineer for Reddit. So he claims that a MacBook Pro with the M1 Max can compile apps for iOS and Android in about half the time required by, the Core i9 flagship MacBook Pro of the previous generation. So by calculating that, he comes to the conclusion that if you get a MacBook Pro with M1 Max, you can save half the time on the programming. So that should give you more productivity, but obviously when it comes to humans, I think that's not how productivity works, because even though you finish one task, you won't transition over to the next task immediately, because you are human. You obviously you have a limit to how much you can do in a day. But yeah, based on this calculation, actually he says that the MacBook Pros are more worth it and they can help you save more money. And according to him, is that companies can recoup the cost of a MacBook Pro in just 3 months, which is pretty fast. I mean, even if you mine with your graphics card, you probably will recoup your cost in about 6 months now. So yeah, this is actually a very good investment if you want to ask your boss for a new laptop. If and only if you work related to it, then worth it. I think, yeah, but I do believe that faster performance can really improve productivity, especially in stuff like, video editing, whereby, the MacBook Pros have proven to be very much faster than a lot of the competition. I'm not really sure how fast it is when it comes to video editing versus the Core i9. I actually haven't watched the reviews, but as far as we know is that the M1 Max has compute performance when it comes to the graphics that's on par with the 3080, so I do believe that video editing might be also that fast. And the other thing to remember is that, as far as I know, Apple doesn't take advantage of NVENC, so using a 3080 with a Mac probably isn't the best comparison. But yeah, I think for video editing, Apple's ARM processors should be quite fast as well. And I think that's probably one of the areas where I can relate to, because we do spend time editing videos, and when you edit a video, you have to wait for it as it renders, and after it's rendered, you have to upload it. So that's something that you can do immediately after you finish rendering. So unlike compiling apps, where I think after you compile the app, you have to test it and whatnot. So that probably is not a direct cost time saving, but yeah, when it comes to video editing, I can understand. Said that my boss says no MacBook Pro M1 Max for us. He got us a desktop equipped with i7 8700. That's like outdated by now, 8700. But yeah, I guess it's an upgrade. What was your previous system? So yeah, I think that's probably a better metric, because you have to see what you have got and then what you have upgraded to, to really see a difference. Like for me, my personal PC actually upgraded from 3600 to a 5800X. To be honest, I do not see any difference because I don't actually do video editing. That's what my colleague does. And yeah, if you upgrade like that, it's not really much function. I think, Arthur, you're working in a programming firm, right? I don't actually know what you do. But yeah, 8700 is pretty decent. I wouldn't complain if my office PC was a 8700. But yeah, I use a 5800X as my gaming/office PC, so. And yeah, the last bit of the news for today that I'm going to talk about is the Dimensity 9000 and the Dimensity 7000. So the latest Dimensity chips have been rumored to be pretty impressive, and yeah, I do think that from the specs perspective at least, the Dimensity 9000 is an absolute beast. I mean, it is clocked faster than even Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, it has more cache, and it supports LPDDR5X instead of LPDDR5. Overall, it looks very impressive, but apparently, according to these early leaked benchmarks, they are not as fast as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. And also the Dimensity 7000, which we don't actually know the specs for, is slower than the Snapdragon 870, which is supposed to beat. Now, there is the caveat that these 4 chipsets are compared on the MIUI 13 platform, so maybe with a more optimized platform, maybe we might get to see them be more on an equal footing. Or maybe, when MediaTek, releases more optimized drivers and whatnot and kernels, maybe we can see better performance from the Dimensity chip. But in any case, this is what it is right now, and it is quite sad to see that MediaTek's best effort could not beat Snapdragon's best effort. But I do think that when it comes to efficiency, the Dimensity 9000 will probably have the upper hand, because one thing that was rumored previously was that the Dimensity 9000 is up to 20% more efficient than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. So previously I thought that they would be going with a more efficient CPU core layout, so maybe without the Core X2, because we know that the Core X1, Core X2, the Cortex X1, Cortex X2 cores are pretty big and they actually consume a lot of power to deliver the massive single-threaded performance that they offer. But yeah, apparently they are going with the Snapdragon. Apparently they are going with the Cortex X2 core, but maybe the efficiency savings come from the 4nm process, or maybe the GPU. I'm not really sure, but yeah, if efficiency they manage to win, I guess it's probably a decent win for MediaTek, because as far as we know, MediaTek is always the chipset that is rumored, to be hot, to be power hungry, and if they manage to solve those kind of issues, overcome their stigma, I think MediaTek will have a pretty strong 2022. But in any case, MediaTek is already the top chipset maker of the world, so yeah, I mean, MediaTek, they do have a lot of chipsets. They make a lot of the medium mid-range to the upper mid-range, because I don't really consider the Dimensity 1200 a flagship chipset, because the Dimensity 1200, while fast, is not nearly as fast as the Snapdragon 888 or even the 865. It's probably something like the 855 plus type of region. So yeah, but now with the Dimensity 9000, maybe we'll see more flagships featuring this chipset, because you know, it's faster, more efficient, and you know how people are always more concerned about battery life. Because one thing that you realize when you use Android phones over the years is that you have faster and faster chipsets, but you know, you don't really get much better experiences, because there's nothing to take advantage of that. Because like gaming, I think the best game that I can talk about probably is Genshin Impact right now on Android. And as far as I know, we don't even have 120Hz for that right now. So on iOS, yes, you do have 120Hz, but on Android, no. And that's kind of a bummer, because that's the limitation that you don't get to take the full advantage of your chipset on Android. So yeah, not much point going further. Dimensity 1200 more like 870 for me. Yeah, probably around that, I guess. 870, I think slightly slower than the 865, I would say, because the graphics performance is really not quite there. Really want to see what other manufacturers do with the Dimensity 9000. Yep, I think the Dimensity 9000 will probably be featured by more OEMs, because one thing that was rumored previously was that Redmi is gonna use the Dimensity 9000, Dimensity 7000, Snapdragon 870, and also the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in the upcoming Redmi K50 series, which hopefully will be turned into the Poco F4 series for us in other markets, because we don't get the Redmi K flagship models. But yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I'm programmer engineer, write code for infrastructure and server. Now using Mac Mini with i7 8700B. Then change to desktop with i7. Or say desktop install with Linux will be better than Mac. Well, I'm not really sure like how does Linux compare against Mac when it comes to coding and software engineering, because yeah, I actually was sent to study software engineering, but I changed and went to study pharmacy instead. But yeah, I think if you compare Mac against Mac, I think the M1 Max will probably give you a much better performance boost. But then again, yeah, there's no desktop currently with the M1. Oh yes, there's a Mac Mini, but that's the M1, not the M1 Pro Max. So yeah. But yeah, if your applications work on Linux, I guess it's fine. But it's really kind of a side grade, I think, you know, moving from 8700B to 8700. I don't know what was your boss thinking. Doesn't really feel like an upgrade, but I guess in the current situation, but then again, CPUs are not really affected by the current chip shortage, so yeah, I guess bosses be bosses then. Depends on what dev platform. Yeah, I'm not really into that. I don't know the programming field. Anyway, so I guess the giveaway winner was accidentally revealed earlier. So congratulations Putra Silantra for winning last week's giveaway, and this week we will see who will win the giveaway for some HyperX Fury socks. Sorry, not HyperX, they are no longer HyperX, they are Kingston Fury socks. Or are you talking about dev platform as in for the D1200? I don't know whether the D1200 has a dev platform. But yeah, so yes, let's take a look at the laptops. So this is the ProArt Studio Book, which I'm not sure whether this is 3070 or 3060 variant, but yeah, it's the highest end OLED laptop that we have in Malaysia right now. So let's check it out. My colleague actually checked it out a bit earlier, so it's not a complete unboxing of the pure unadulterated experience. It has been opened before, so yeah, slightly less exciting, but let's go through it. I put the Vivobook down first, but it has a very nice box. Ooh. Socks. Yes, I don't actually know why, but we got socks from Asus and also HyperX for some reason. Sorry, they're not HyperX anymore, my bad. They are Fury. So yeah, in case you're not aware, Kingston sold off HyperX to HP, and their gaming lineup of SSDs and RAM is called Kingston Fury. So yeah, apologies for that misspeaking, my mistake. So yeah, very big 240 watt charger, So as with most recent premium Asus laptops, they come in two boxes. There is the laptop box, which is kind of heavy, and you know, the charger box, which contains the charger. Yeah, not Virgin anymore. Oh. So the power cable and the 240-watt charger, which I'm trying to try out. I don't think this is the way that it's supposed to be packed. My colleague made a mistake packing it, and it's now a mess. Yep, this is the 240-watt charger. Pretty compact actually. It's actually a lot smaller than my 240-watt charger that is down there. Yeah, it's quite compact, not as compact as some of the newer 100-watt PD chargers, which I'm not sure whether this laptop supports, but yeah, the PD chargers are actually a lot more compact. But they're only 100 watt, this is 240 watts, so I guess it's reasonable. I don't know. Well, for the performance, for the full performance, you definitely need the 240 watts, so it's not really much of an option anyway. And then now let's get into the laptop. So it looks like there is, when you look at it, you know, there is like this half open, there's like a door here, but it doesn't actually open, which kind of sad. I wish, like, you know, it opened half, you know, like the the Asus ROG is the first Pro Duo 15 SE. The box has like a flap opening on the front cover, so yeah, that would have been nice. This doesn't have it, unfortunately. So this opens up entirely in a single cover, single flap. Yeah, no text inside anyway, because no Join the Republic or anything. Looks like the max Q for the GPU, and how they got 240-watt charger with the 370. Not sure. I don't think it's max Q. Give me a minute, like check. Because yeah, we have the full specs for the 30. So the 3070 runs at 90 watts and 110 watts with dynamic boost. So I probably consider it almost max Q, but you know, they don't have the max Q naming anymore. And as far as I know, the lowest power consumption for the 3070 is 80 watts. So yeah, technically I guess you can call it max Q, because I think the highest wattage for 3070 is like what, 130 watts. So yeah. Yeah, it's 90 watt with 110 watts max with dynamic boost. This is the 5900HX. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Matthew. The dynamic is 110. So this is the laptop. It's actually quite thin for such a beefy laptop, and for 16-inch, I think it's quite nice. But it's definitely very heavy. It's supposed to be 2.4 kilos, and you can definitely feel all 2.4 kilos of this because it's really quite heavy. So oddly enough, this is not a sticker. Usually they stick this on the laptop, but I guess because this is a Pro Art, they didn't stick it. So yeah, it lists all the features, and one of the things is that it runs NVIDIA Studio drivers out of the box. What? $240-watt charger, 240. I don't think that's how it works, because max P is like 130 watts if I'm not mistaken for the 3070. Let's give it a look. Yeah, I can't send links right now because I'm banned, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, that's the correct spec link to use anyway. Thanks, Matthew. But we actually have the whole list of the specs for all the OLED laptops if you go and check it out on PokdeLIVE.net. Just let me look for the list of, you know, laptops, GPUs. Looks like this model. Yep. So there is some documentation in the box as well. Not gonna look at that because yeah, who looks at documentation? I think that's about it for the box actually. Yeah, there's nothing else in the box. I'll put this back in. I can't share links in Chongsen because I got banned for commenting on Facebook. Yeah, apparently you can't tell people to beat their mother and burn their house. Yeah, so for the 3070, the range is all the way from 80 to 125 watts. So 110 watts, I think, should be considered possible, I guess. 110 watts should be like max P level, going by the previous naming system, because now they don't actually go by that naming system, which to be honest is really annoying, because to be honest, when it comes to the performance, it's much easier for us to tell someone, okay, this is max P, this is max Q, even though max P, to be honest, doesn't exist, but it's something that we sort of accepted as non-max Q, because yeah, max Q is about like from 80 watts to about 90, I think, watts. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that kind of naming anymore. Now OEMs are forced to name the to inform the consumer the wattage that it can draw and also the clock speed, which to be honest is just convoluted. I mean, who wants to remember what's the top limit? Like even I can't remember. I thought it was 150 max. So yeah. I kept being banned just because I attached a link on my comment. I want to share product to friend, but FB is problem, I tell you. What I tell you, it's a joke. Have you guys not seen that meme? You know, it's on Laoyat. You guys can go check it out. Yeah, I'm not telling you guys to do it, but you know, it's a meme. Yeesh. Yeah, Facebook is retarded. Can't do anything. So yeah, normal plastic wrapper, which is common for almost ASUS laptops nowadays. Laoyat forum lah. You must be too young for Laoyat forum, right? So yeah, this is the laptop. It's matte finished, matte black, I would say. I think they call it star black or something. So it's like slightly different from normal black. And instead of the ASUS logo, you get the ProArt logo right in the center, which is kind of cool. But to be honest, I really like laptops with the logo offset, you know, like the latest ASUS ZenBooks, or maybe, you know, the logo in the corner, you know, like the logo corner down here, like the ROG laptops, or up in the corner, which I think some IdeaPad laptops have it in the corner. That's why I so old. I don't know, I'm 26, how old are you? So yep. Oh, I should flip it over. This is the laptop. So what sets this laptop apart from, you know, your normal laptops is that it has this 16-inch 4K OLED panel, as well as, you know, this ASUS dial, which is a major convenience if you are a content creator. So it allows you to scroll through a timeline or adjust your settings, and as far as I remember, you can click it. Yeah, you can click it as well. So overall, it's meant for creators, and this dial is adding to that feature set whereby, you know, you don't have to get those specific dials, because they actually do sell dials that you can get, you know, for you to play with your Adobe software more intuitively. But this is integrated into the laptop itself, which makes it more convenient, I guess. And the other one major thing is that this trackpad has a click button. Sorry, the scroll click button, the middle click. So you don't get that with trackpads usually, but this one has it because there are features in those apps that use the middle click, and this lets you do that. So I don't actually use the software enough to know what does the middle click do, but yeah, if you use it heavily enough, then this is important. That button, I remember seeing the older IBM. I think you must be talking about that. That's the track dot, right? The track point, the one in the keyboard. That one nice. Yeah, I think they also have a middle third mouse button, but I don't really remember because I don't actually have any. I remember my teachers using them, but I don't have any experience using them myself. And yeah, it's really heavy. Oh. And they also have a little bit of branding here. The ProArt Studio Book along with the Harman Kardon logo here. So right down here you can see that it is the Ryzen 9 version, and also the fact that it runs GeForce Studio, because this is a GeForce RTX laptop. It doesn't feature the Quadro class, the Pro class RTX A series laptops, RTX A series GPUs. So they dropped the Quadro naming. So Nvidia is really going on something with their name dropping, because first they stopped giving us Max Q and they now stopped giving us Quadro. So yeah. So on the sides you can see there are a lot of ports, and also plenty of space for cooling, because yeah, there is a lot of performance in this laptop and you want to be able to use that, so you definitely need plenty of cooling vents. So this is not ultra portable, definitely not 2.4 kilos. It's more to a thin but not light performance laptop, because you can see it's very thin. It's not thick at all. When it comes to the size, I would say that it's slightly bigger than your usual 15-inch, your 15-inch laptops of today, where you have thin bezels and whatnot. This is definitely slightly bigger, but it's very thin, so that should help it slip into bags more easily. But when it comes to ports, you definitely get a lot of ports, which is something that I think creators will appreciate, and even someone like me who is not the truest creator can appreciate as well. So you get 2 USB-C ports, 1 HDMI and the charging port, as well as 1 USB-A port here, which also supports 10 gigabit per second, which is USB 3.1 Gen 2, as well as the Kensington lock, so you can lock it to your desk or lock it to wherever you need to secure it physically to. And on the other side also you get this SD card reader, which goes up to a very high speed, which I don't remember. I think it's like few gigabits, something like that, or 900 something. So yeah, this is the SD Express 7.0 slot, and you also still get a headphone jack and also a LAN port, so this is not your usual laptop. And you also get another USB-A port here, which also supports the 10 gigabit per second speeds. So this is AMD, so you don't get Thunderbolt, which is kind of unfortunate, because I think creators have the most to gain from having Thunderbolt. But yeah, no Thunderbolt on this machine because AMD. And yeah, there's plenty of vents here, so I think in terms of cooling, you won't really need to worry about this laptop, but we will definitely be testing it, so let's see how it performs. And one thing that I kind of like here, you can see, I don't know whether you guys can actually see, let me see, is that it has this nice rubber feet around the vents, so no matter what, the laptop is always raised when it comes to this area, so you can put it on any desk. It should be higher than the rest of the desk. And there's a little bit of a cutout here so that it still can draw fresh air even when you put it on the desk. Hopefully USB 4 will help in future AMD based laptops. USB 4 supports up to Thunderbolt 3, right? So yeah, as far as I remember, you can use Thunderbolt in AMD laptops as well, but I'm not sure why. Probably because there are not enough PCIe 4 lanes, PCIe 3 lanes. Because yeah, if I'm not mistaken, AMD laptops have like only 8 or 16, kind of limited because they don't have a chipset. But yeah, kind of sad there. What is this USB 4? USB 4 is the latest standard that supports up to the full 40 gigabit per second speeds that Thunderbolt supports. But yeah, speaking of Thunderbolt, there's actually a very interesting thing that I found out recently. So I was testing this external SSD, and Thunderbolt is actually limited 10 gigabit per second if you use it over USB. So while Thunderbolt itself supports 40 gigabits per second, if you connect a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 device to a Thunderbolt 4 port, all you get is 10 gigabit per second instead of the 20 gigabit per second that the port supports, which actually gave me a lot of headache. And yeah, it's kind of weird because it supports 40 gigabits per second, but the controller doesn't support USB at 20 gigabits per second. So interested to see comparison with MacBook Pro M1X. Well, we don't have a MacBook to compare against, and even if we have one, I think it's gonna be quite hard to compare apples to apples, because yeah, I mean, it's two different platforms with different software. Unless you're talking about like Premiere Pro versus Premiere Pro, then maybe, but yeah, we don't have one Mac to compare with anyway in the first place. So hopefully down the line we can get the opportunity to try, but for now, unfortunately, I can't do that. So heavy, but my heart is heavier. Yeah, the middle rate, nowadays the IBM laptops still have, they still actually have the IBM ThinkPads, they still offer that. Already under Lenovo. Yep, the Lenovo bought over IBM. And this is the screen. Wait, I'm not sure whether you guys are actually getting good view of the screen. Give me a moment. Yep, this is the beautiful OLED screen. Where is the brightness control? So this is full brightness. And you can see it is a very brilliant display. I'm not sure whether it's the most focus point. I'm not sure where is the focus point in this camera right now. So yeah, look at the colors. And the good thing about OLED is that, you know, because each pixel emits the color, you can see that the blacks are really true blacks. You know, they're not gray in any way. Wow, it just made a rhyme. Anyway, so yeah. And another thing that ASUS has been promising is that, you know, when you adjust the brightness of the display, it doesn't affect the color accuracy as much, like, you know, with IPS displays. Because IPS displays, if you say that the panel has delta E certain number, you have to make sure that it's 100% brightness, because if you lower the brightness, it's actually not gonna be 100% sRGB, or, you know, the color accuracy of delta E less than 2, and all kinds of claims that they make. Because yeah, when you adjust the brightness, you know, the colors do not appear as bright, because, you know, that's how LCD panels work. But with OLED, you can actually work more comfortably without, you know, burning out your retinas. So yeah. The one thing that might irk some people is that, you know, it is actually glossy. So while it's not touchscreen, it's actually glossy. So yeah, so you can see that, you know, if you work in a very bright environment, the reflection is gonna kill you, because it's glossy. But I don't think there are any matte OLED displays, are there? I don't remember. And yeah, there's also a privacy camera, I think. Yep, you can see the camera here, but yeah, it's probably too small for you guys. There's actually a physical privacy shutter, like what you would get on, you know, more business-oriented laptops. Yeah, it's not matte, which is kind of the bummer here. But once again, matte displays actually have a less, how to say? Matte displays often give you a less sharp feeling. So when you look at a matte display, often you feel like it's less sharp, the colors are less vibrant because of the way that it diffuses the light. So yeah, but to be honest, I think we have seen some data whereby it doesn't really affect, but it's probably on a perceived level, so it's more on a human eye level. So with the naked eye, you might see that a glossy display looks much better than, you know, a matte display. But yeah, it definitely makes it a lot harder to work on a glossy display when, you know, you are in a brightly lit environment, especially, you know, with backlighting. And yeah, I should check what spec it is first before putting it away. Yeah, physical clickers, I haven't felt that in a long time. So the GPU is a 3070, yep. It's so sharp that it pierced my heart. Yep, this is a 4K display and it's 16:10, so as you might notice, it's actually a lot wider, a lot taller than your usual 16:9 display, and yeah, it's 4K, so it's really sharp. Actually, it's not exactly 4K because it's 3840 by another big number, because it's 16:10, not 16:9. I think it's 2880. But yeah, it's actually a lot sharper than your usual, you know, Full HD laptop. And let's get into the next laptop of today, which is the Vivobook 14X Pro. Vivobook 14X OLED. Right, is it called that? Don't actually remember. But OLEDs, they have pretty nice colors and brightness to compensate, I think. You're talking about what? Matte? No, it's definitely not 2560 by 1600 because this is 4K plus. Yeah, it's WQUXGA, it's 3840 by 2400. Anyway, let's go through this. I forgot the name of this laptop, my bad. Yeah, it's Vivobook Pro 14X OLED, so yeah, kind of a mouthful there. But this is the laptop, and this one is actually the AMD version. Yeah, this is the AMD version. So previously they announced the Intel version, but now we have the AMD version to check out, which is nice. Yeah, 3840 by 2400, so it's even more than 4K because yeah, it's wider than your usual 16 by 9 4K display. So you can see here on the outside it says wow the world, because yeah, I think I'm quite impressed because Vivobook and then with an OLED display means quite a lot, because you know Vivobooks are usually more affordable, but you know when it's OLED it makes OLED affordable, which is interesting, I would say. Don't know about you guys, but I like it. So yep. And on the inside also you actually have a lot more print. So as you guys might be aware of, you know, Vivobook, they're actually targeting the youth segment, so you know it's kind of blocky text all over the place, you know. So the Vivobook plus environment, go green, save green, go green, save green. And yeah, they actually give you advice, you know, to reuse, restructure, reduce, recycle. Yeah. Let's get the laptop out first and let's see what else is in the box. This laptop is also not very light, but I guess it's okay. Documentation as usual. There's a little envelope. Asus Vivobook X Letter Boy. Looks like this one is 90 Hz. I don't exactly know, to be honest. This is my first time checking out this laptop. WQUXGA. I think no. The WQUXGA is the 4K panel, and the 4K panel is not 90 Hz. Yeah, the Vivobook Pro 14X I don't think has 90 Hz. Wait, let's go into this. Oh, it comes with a set of stickers that you know you can customize your laptop with. I don't know, I don't stick anything on my laptop. Actually this laptop has stickers, this is because there are scratches and I try to cover the scratches with stickers. Anything else in the box? The power adapter, which is yeah very small, really small because it's 120 watts. I wonder it's actually half the size. Let's check that out in a moment. Yeah, the power cable. That's all in the box, nothing more. Pretty basic, but they did send us the backpack as well, which we have over this side. Ta-da! It's a quite nice bag, quite trendy, and it's actually used like leather down here. It's fake leather definitely, but it's waterproof, and I think up here should also be waterproof, but it's more fabricy. And yeah, straps not padded, which is kind of a bummer because this is not a very light laptop, but yeah, I guess it looks good, so that counts for something. And the zipper is like this, you know, it's hidden inside the bag. There are lips to the back. Yeah, pretty basic stuff. I would probably love a bag with more compartments on the outside because I like to put my charger, my power bank, my cards and whatnot on the outside. You know, there's only one pocket down here, so I guess it passes the mark. But I would have wished for more pockets, or more little stuff, you know, to separate the main laptop, you know, and the main whatever I put in the main compartment from, you know, my earphones and whatnot, so I don't have to dig through them. But yeah, I mean, for a free bag, I wouldn't complain. This looks very stylish, and it actually says, "Be explorers, ready, set, go. 20% cultural originator." I don't even know what does cultural originator mean, but yeah, cool text. Laptop sticker bombs, lots of MacBook covers by then. Yeah, if I buy a Mac, I won't be covering it with stickers because I paid a lot of money for my laptop and I want to show off the design. But yeah, I guess you do you, man. If you like stickers, then yeah, I don't see why not. And this is the laptop. It's how many kilos? 1.45 kilos. To be honest, it feels a bit heavier than my G14 for some reason. Probably because it's thinner. Or maybe because of the aspect ratio, so it's actually bigger. There's a smell. And yeah, you get the sticker, whatnot. Yep, let's get that off. Because we don't really need this, it just tells you what you probably already know. MacBook at the design has its own design. It's a pretty iconic, noticeable design that I think anyone who sees a MacBook will know is a MacBook, even though it's not particularly stylish, like unlike this, which you can see it has this how to say, dynamic looking label, which it looks like a stuck on metal label, but actually it's not. It's just part of the whole thing. I think it's probably stuck on, but you know, they did a very good job of sticking it on that it doesn't look like there are seams. Or it's probably milled out, I'm not really sure. But yeah, looks stylish, nice logo. I like this. Like I mentioned earlier, I like the logo's offset, and this takes it to the next level. Pretty good, pretty nice. And over on the bottom, you have very good vents, large vents. So cool, because this has the 5900 HX inside. I'm not very sure how it will handle such a high power processor inside. Yeah, and you know, they still have speakers, and pretty nice looking rubber strip along here, because yeah, overall a very nice looking laptop. Quite like it. For cooling, yeah, no vents out the side, vents are out through the back. Made of metal also, and you get two USB-C ports here, along with one micro SD card slot, one USB-C port, one HDMI, another USB 3.0 port, and the power jack. So one thing that I noticed is that there is no USB 10 gigabit port here, which is kind of odd for a creator-oriented laptop, but I guess because of the cost savings that Vivobooks has to offer, this is not really an option for this laptop, I guess. Yeah, another glossy display. Yeah, so I better plug in the phone. The Apple logo slapped there and bam, expensive stuff. I must say, after using iPhone for like 2 weeks, I don't really hate on Apple as much. I will still say that they are overpriced, but they're not as overpriced as you would think for the experience, I guess. So this is the 120 watt and the, oh wait. This is the 120 watt and this is the 140 watt. So yeah, it's actually a bit thinner and a lot shorter and a little bit less wide as well. So yeah, definitely a lot smaller. But it's 120 watts, so it's half the power. That doesn't count. Unboxing. So yeah. Price is more 3 or 4 years. Yeah, the software support is good, and to be honest, the software is good. So unlike, you know, Android phones, which might not even feel like they're using the full hardware, because, you know, even though they're running the latest hardware, it still feels kind of sluggish. But you know, with iOS, you get the feeling that it's fast and smooth. But then again, they don't. The thing with iPhones is that you don't need to have the latest iPhone for it to feel smooth. Obviously, the iPhone 13 Pro is smoother than most iPhones because, yeah, there is 120Hz display. So that is the smoothest part of it, but yeah, you don't actually need the latest A15 or even the A14 for a smooth iPhone experience, which is kind of impressive. It's just the overall feeling of it. Waiting on Xiaomi 12. Been skipping 11 series for a while. You mean you skip all the way from Xiaomi 1 to now you want to get 12? I think the 12 would be as impressive as any Xiaomi flagship, because Xiaomi has always been giving us very good hardware for the price. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure what Xiaomi 12 will come with, but probably, you know, the latest specs they can get. This still runs Windows 10? I thought it's supposed to run Windows 11. Windows 10 is not like this radio at the boot. That's kind of odd. So give me a moment as I set up this laptop, and you can continue looking at the back of the laptop, which is kind of pretty. Then you can't see anything now, my bad. Yeah, that's a good angle for you. Yeah, this is still running Windows 10. Well, that runs Windows 11 out of the box. Kind of interesting. I thought Asus would just move forward to Windows 11 across their laptops. Is it smoother than butter? I would say it is very smooth. So with every scroll and whatnot, you feel like, you know, the phone feels like it's responding to you, you know, instead of having like little. The thing with Android is that you get these little stutters here and there, which really breaks the experience of a premium experience. With iPhone, you don't get that. So I do feel like that the animations are probably slightly slower than what I get on my Poco F2 Pro, but it feels a lot better because everything is like, it's coming to you in a smooth way. It's like served up to you, and everything follows your finger when you move it. It's very nice. But there's one thing that I actually kind of didn't like when it comes to iPhone, is that when in the apps, so like with a lot of these Android apps, Android phones nowadays, you get gesture controls whereby you can just swipe from the left or right to go back. But on iOS, obviously you don't have the back, and basically what you need to do is to swipe from only one side. So instead of pressing the back buttons in the top, let's say, yeah, I have nothing to show you guys. So this doesn't work. I don't know which one works. Some of the apps when you want to go back, have to swipe from the side here. You can swipe a bit closer to the side. It doesn't really matter. That's kind of nice. But it's generally only for when the app itself has the back button implemented. If not, there is no back system navigation for iOS. So that's kind of weird for me. And the fact that, you know, when you unlock your phone, you have to swipe up pretty high. But yeah, Face ID works well. The thing is that Face ID doesn't work when you wear a mask, so it doesn't work that well, especially in today where we wear a mask all the time. So yeah, it's a win or lose type of thing. But to be honest, I'm quite enjoying using the iPhone. The one thing that I really like is that the camera takes really good shots right off the cuff. So instead of, you know, having to aim and, you know, having old processed photos or, you know, photos that are not properly focused, they do take very good shots, like off the cuff. Like you just flick it open, turn on the camera, take a photo. Usually it turns out okay. And night shots look quite natural. Unlike, well, you know, most Android phones nowadays, they take night shots that look like daytime. So yeah, that's not something you get with iOS, which probably good and probably bad depending on your taste. Because sometimes I do like the over HDR, over night mode look of, you know, what you get in Android devices. But yeah, sometimes the natural look does convey the message better, does convey the image better when you take photos, like for example night shots of buildings. I do prefer Android's way of going about it, but you know, sometimes the darker images that you get with iOS, they are very detailed, but yeah, they're darker. So yeah, optimum price. Why? So yeah, it's finally booted and you can check out the screen now. Whee! So yeah, this is the screen, and let's turn up the brightness because That's the best way to see the screen, I guess. Android phone kena beli harga sama. Probably, I think that might be probably a better comparison. 4,800, 4,899 Android versus the 4,899 iPhone. But yeah, I don't think that Android can come close when it comes to the experience of it. Yeah, this is the screen. You can see that it's very pretty. It's also glossy, and it also has the physical camera shutter button, which is good because it helps you hide away the camera without putting plaster or whatever stuff that people used to do. I don't have an issue with this because it's down here, and I don't care about it because yeah, if they want to see me doing PokdeLIVE when I'm doing PokdeLIVE, I really don't care because this laptop is generally here. And the other laptop that I have, the G14, doesn't even have a webcam, so I don't need to stick anything there, and privacy is ensured. And obviously, I also use the Poco F2 Pro, which the camera is hidden, so I get a full screen, and I don't have to worry about privacy on that either. So yeah, pretty nice. This is the only thing that has privacy concerns because the camera is exposed all the time. But yeah, I've been digressing. Anyway, this is one of the few laptops in 2021 that you get, a numpad with, and you can see that the keyboard actually has this very nice contrast color. So you get this lighter gray color here, dark gray color here, black keys, and then the color blocked escape key, which really reminds me of, enthusiast keyboards, whereby they have more custom keycaps. So yeah, this is a nice design. And the trackpad. So this is not your usual trackpad. It actually has the ASUS dial, a virtual ASUS dial baked into the trackpad. So I need to take this sticker off. So I don't know whether you can see it. Can you? Yeah, there's a pink thing. So when you swipe down, you can see the pink, which indicates where the ASUS dial is. And then if you want to take it away, so you want to use the full trackpad, and just swipe down again, and it goes away. So yeah, pretty intuitive, and it basically lets you use the ASUS dial features without having a physical ASUS dial, which helps ASUS, I guess, save cost, and also the laptop doesn't look so weird. I guess it looks more like a normal laptop, while you can obviously see that the Pro Art laptop is like a pro version of any normal laptop. One thing that I'm quite concerned for right now is that the cooling the only exhaust for the cooling is in between the body and the screen, which generally doesn't translate well to performance. But yeah, we have to see how well this performs. But yeah, it's definitely not as great as what I have seen from other designs. This doesn't even have a go lift, which means that there is no extra room for intake. But yeah, there is a lot of intake vents down here, so hopefully performance will be good. But yeah, that's something that we have to check out in testing. So both of these displays are the 4K versions, and this one I think is not Hellman verified, but they are also Pantone validated. Both of these laptops have Pantone validated screens. So yeah, color-wise, I think both of them should be pretty similar. I think performance, they should be similar, probably only when it comes to verification. The verification of the color accuracy might be slightly lower on this because yeah, it's not designed for true professionals like this laptop. But I think in terms of like the actual hardware, it should be quite similar. But that's something that we have to see and test with a proper colorimeter. So yeah, this is the two laptops we have today. Very beautiful screens, very nice designs. I do like the designs on both laptops. I prefer this one a little bit more because it's slightly lighter. Actually a lot lighter, it's a whole kilo lighter. But yeah, each of these have their own respective target markets. So this is for the pros who can shell out 11,999 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 11,999. While this one is probably gonna be less than 6K, I think. So this one, the one that we know of is the Intel version. I don't know how much does the AMD version cost because, yeah, forgive me for not checking. Ooh. And yeah, that's it. I think for these two laptops, this is a slightly smaller screen, but yeah, resolution wise, it's just a sharp. I really like it. And yeah, I will see you guys next week, I think. See you guys. Bye bye.